Monarchy is a system where power is held by a king or queen, and leadership is usually passed down within the same family from one generation to the next. There are two kinds. Absolute monarchy, such as in Saudi Arabia, where the king holds all authority and controls every matter of the state. Constitutional or symbolic monarchy, such as in Britain, where a monarch exists but does not interfere in governance, which is left to an elected government. The main flaw in monarchy is that it can bring unqualified individuals to power simply because they are part of the royal family, regardless of competence or the people's will. Democracy is a political system in which the people participate in governance through free elections where they choose their representatives, and decisions are made based on the majority's opinion. This system guarantees freedom of speech, the right to oppose, and separates the three powers: legislative, executive, and judicial, preventing any monopoly of authority. It is considered one of the most respectful systems of human rights and is successfully applied in countries like Sweden, Norway, and New Zealand, where transparency and political accountability are high. Despite its advantages, democracy can suffer from instability due to government changes and slow implementation of plans, in addition to the possibility of voters being influenced by media or special interests. Socialism is a political and economic system in which the state manages resources and production to achieve equality and reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. It aims to provide basic services like education, healthcare, and housing for all citizens without discrimination. It relies on collective or state ownership, where profits are used to serve the community instead of being accumulated by a few. It is applied in various forms in countries like Cuba, China, and the former Soviet Union, with broad state intervention in the economy. Its drawbacks include weak personal motivation to work and innovate due to similar incomes, as well as excessive administrative complexity that slows progress. Autocracy is a system where power is monopolized by a single person, like a king or leader who makes decisions without oversight or public participation. Elections are either abolished or symbolic, opposition is suppressed, and independent institutions are absent. The ruler governs for their own interest without accountability, which opens the door to tyranny. Examples include Stalin's rule in the Soviet Union and some military regimes. Its disadvantages are the suppression of freedoms, lack of participation, and the ruler remaining in power even if they fail, due to the absence of peaceful means for change. The federal system divides power between a central government and local governments such as states or regions, where each level has its own authority. It is often used in large and diverse countries to facilitate governance and provide flexibility in management. For example, the United States, where each state has its own laws and judicial system while still adhering to general federal laws. Its disadvantages include inconsistencies in laws and services between regions and the potential for conflict between central and local authorities. Oligarchy is a system where a small group of wealthy individuals, influencers, or military figures control the government, while ordinary people are excluded from decision-making. Elections are usually symbolic, and institutions serve the interests of this elite. It is said that some countries, like the United States, are heavily influenced by major corporations, making them closer to this model. The main flaw is that the elite may govern in a way that serves only their interests, increasing poverty, class division, and monopolization of opportunities. Republic is a political system in which the president and representatives are elected for specific terms. Governance in a republic operates under a constitution that defines the powers of each branch and separates the executive, legislative, and judicial authorities. Citizens participate in decision-making through elections and sometimes referendums. Transparency and accountability are expected to ensure fair rule. There are presidential republics like Brazil, where the president holds broad executive powers, in parliamentary republics like Germany and India, where the president is symbolic and the prime minister leads the government. The advantages of a republic include power rotation and the ability to hold leaders accountable. But in countries with weak institutions, governance may become merely symbolic and corruption may spread, especially if there's no effective oversight or enough public awareness. Communism aims to eliminate differences between people by placing all ownership of land, factories, and wealth in the hands of the state. so that no one is rich or poor. It is applied in countries like North Korea and Cuba, and it was the foundation of the Soviet Union. It is often governed by a single party without opposition or real elections. Communist ideology sees religion as a tool of control, so communist regimes tend to separate religion from the state, as in China and the Soviet Union, where religious practices were restricted. Though its goal is equality, the system often leads to restricted freedoms. Anarchism is a system that rejects the existence of any government or central authority and relies on people organizing their lives through voluntary cooperation and individual responsibility, without police or official laws. This belief supports full freedom and opposes all forms of control, whether from the state, religion, or corporations. Communities are managed through mutual agreement between individuals, but applying this system is difficult as it requires high awareness and collective responsibility. Despite its aim for freedom, the absence of law often leads to chaos, violence, and rule by the strongest. In the presidential system, the people elect the president directly, and he is responsible for leading the country and the government. The president makes decisions and enforces laws independently of parliament. This system is defined by the division of power into three independent branches. The president enforces the laws. The parliament creates the laws. The courts apply the laws. This prevents any single authority from controlling everything. It is used in countries like the United States, South Korea, and Brazil. One of its advantages is stability, as the president completes his term. However, if he abuses his powers, removing him from office can be difficult. In the parliamentary system, the people elect the parliament, and the parliament chooses the prime minister to lead the government. The president, if present, plays a symbolic role only. The parliament legislates laws, supervises the government, and can withdraw confidence from it and replace it if it fails. Japan operates under a parliamentary system. Constitutional rule limits the powers of both the ruler and the government through a clear constitution that guarantees rights and freedoms and organizes the relationship between the three branches of power. No one is above the law, and each authority is bound by the limits set by the Constitution. The advantage is that it protects people's rights and prevents tyranny. The drawback is the difficulty of changing laws, even if they become outdated. Examples include the United Kingdom, the United States, and Germany. Totalitarian rule is a system where the state or ruling party controls every aspect of life. There is no opposition, and propaganda and security are used to strengthen the regime, along with monitoring people and suppressing dissent. The leader is often portrayed as an untouchable symbol. North Korea is a clear example, along with Nazi Germany under Hitler and the Soviet Union under Stalin. Its biggest flaws are severe repression, lack of freedom, and human rights violations, which create a climate of fear and stagnation. The Islamic system is based on Islamic Sharia, derived from the Quran and Sunnah. It aims to achieve justice, equality, and protect rights within a religious and moral framework. The ruler enforces Sharia law and consults scholars through shura, consultation. The judiciary is independent and rules by Islamic law. Power is distributed between the ruler and shura councils and balances rights and duties. It faces challenges in religiously diverse societies, but offers a model based on values and social justice. Historical examples include the Rashidun Caliphate, the Umayyad state, and the Abbasid state.